Hey everyone, welcome back to Rocky Watches Movies. Are you ready for a trip down memory lane? Today we are diving deep into the world of 80s cult classic The Lost Boys from 1987. That's right, buckle up as we sink our teeth into everything from casting choices to behind-the-scenes drama to hidden Easter eggs. We're uncovering all the juicy trivia. So grab your holy water or maybe just a refreshing beverage and get ready for a nostalgia overload as we revisit the world of vampires and mullets in 18 Things You Never Knew About The Lost Boys. While The Lost Boys treads lighter compared to many R-rated horror films of the era, with limited swearing and no nudity, it earns its rating through a chilling display of violence. The most notorious instance is the biker massacre around a campfire. Kiefer Sutherland has revealed the scene was originally intended to be even more graphic. He said it was so violent he couldn't believe they were doing it. He ate the whole back of a man's head off with blood going everywhere and had been directed to just smile like a child having cake. The Lost Boys used extensive special makeup effects for the transformation sequences. Before this, portrayals often relied solely on fangs. However, one key element, the contact lenses, proved extremely challenging. These were so painful that the actors could only stand to wear them for a few seconds at a time. A key scene reflects this struggle unintentionally. When David's hand is seared by light in the vampire cave, Kiefer Sutherland's tearful reaction wasn't scripted. It was a genuine response to the irritating contacts. While The Lost Boys boasted a respectable budget of $8.5 million for the era, it fell short of the initial promises from Warner Brothers. This forced director Joel Schumacher and his team to get creative and adjust their vision. One consequence of this budgetary restraint is the limited portrayal of vampire flight. Instead of elaborate special effects sequences, Schumacher took a more character-driven approach, showing the attacks from the vampire's perspective. The 1987 cult classic marked the screenwriting debut of Janice Fisher and James Jeremias, with their script fetching a cool $400,000. Initially, Richard Donner planned to direct the film himself. However, fate intervened when he was offered the chance to direct Lethal Weapon starring Mel Gibson and Danny Glover. With Donner stepping aside, the director's chair for The Lost Boys landed in the capable hands of Joel Schumacher, while Donner remained on board as an executive producer. The film's title alludes to Peter Pan's Neverland, the land where boys never grow up. This influence permeates the story, mirroring the ageless nature of the vampires. While initially envisioned as a more light-hearted Goonies vs. Vampires concept, Schumacher sought a different approach. Instead of young teenage vampires, he envisioned them as a group of older, charismatic figures, personified by actors like Billy Wirth, who was a model at the time of his audition. The casting process for The Lost Boys yielded some interesting near misses. Jim Carrey, fresh off his vampire role in Once Bitten, was considered for the part of David, which would have brought a vastly different energy to the character compared to Kiefer Sutherland's portrayal. Ben Stiller also threw his hat in the ring for an unspecified role, while Fred Gwynne was considered for the role of Max. Convincing Jason Patric to play Michael wasn't easy. The actor initially resisted the vampire theme, requiring director Joel Schumacher to offer significant creative control before accepting the role. Patric's influence extended beyond his own character. Joel Schumacher initially envisioned a blonde actress for Star. However, Patric, who played alongside Jamie Gertz in Solar Babies, successfully lobbied for her to be cast instead. Kiefer Sutherland and his fellow vampire castmates rocked a signature look, eye-catching mullets and heavy metal-inspired biker gear. However, there was a practical reason behind one particular costume element. Look closely and you'll see that Sutherland's character David is almost always wearing black leather biker gloves. In fact, sometimes he's wearing one glove that's bigger than the other. This wasn't just a fashion statement. Sutherland actually broke his wrist halfway through filming. Ironically, the injury occurred from a motorcycle accident. The posters adorning the walls weren't just set dressing, they held hidden messages. In the vampire's lair hung the Doors poster, a nod to their anthem People Are Strange. Countering this, Sam's room featured a poster of Echo and the Bunnymen, the band who provided the film's hauntingly beautiful cover of the same song. Finally, a Rob Lowe poster graced Sam's closet door, a cheeky in-joke for director Joel Schumacher, who had just directed Low in St. Elmo's Fire. Filming coincided with a challenging period in Corey Feldman's life. According to reports, he arrived for his first day on set showing signs of a come-down due to substance abuse. He reportedly kept falling asleep on set, and director Schumacher made the decision to fire him. However, the following day, Feldman apologised and promised to be professional for the rest of the shoot, which he was, so the director rehired him. In a behind-the-scenes interview, Feldman discussed his approach to Edgar Frog. Joel Schumacher encouraged him to immerse himself in the action hero persona, suggesting films like Rambo and Missing in Action, starring Stallone and Chuck Norris. Feldman said Schumacher told him, "That is your character. I want you to meld all of these guys together and make something out of it." So that's what I did. The film marked the start of a fruitful partnership for Corey Haim and Corey Feldman. Their frequent co-starring roles throughout the 90s led to the popular nickname The Two Coreys. The ending of The Lost Boys left it open for David to come back. Unlike the other vampires in the film, upon death, David's body remains. This detail hinted at plans for a sequel titled The Lost Girls, which would have seen David alive and facing new threats. Unfortunately, this follow-up film never materialised. The world of The Lost Boys has expanded beyond the original film. In 2008, Wildstorm Comics released Lost Boys: Reign of Frogs, a 4-issue miniseries following the Frog Brothers on further vampire hunting escapades after the events of the first movie. However, this storyline was not continued in the 2016 DC Vertigo comic series. This sequel, titled simply The Lost Boys, served as a direct continuation of the original film, disregarding the events of Reign of Frogs. The well-received 6-issue run featured a new generation of female vampires alongside the surviving characters from the 1987 movie, drawing inspiration from the planned but never produced Lost Girls sequel. The heart-pounding train bridge scene wasn't filmed in Santa Cruz, where the film is set. Instead, fans can find the actual Iron Horse Trailhead Trestle Bridge 40 miles north of Los Angeles. Today, the bridge has a pedestrian walkway so fans can experience the bridge themselves. Most of The Lost Boys was filmed on location in Santa Cruz, California, although with a little bit of a twist. While the town served as the film's backdrop, city officials requested a name change. The script's portrayal of Santa Cruz as the murder capital of the world didn't sit well with them, leading to the creation of the fictional Santa Carla. Interestingly, this wasn't simply a case of creative license aversion. Santa Cruz does have a darker past. The 1970s saw a string of disturbing murders committed by multiple serial killers around the same time. Long before the era of post-credits stingers, The Lost Boys almost had its own. Originally, the film planned to conclude with a scene hinting at a larger vampire history. After the credits rolled, the camera would have returned to the ruined hotel, the vampire's lair. A slow pan would reveal a previously unseen section of the wall adorned with a mural. This mural, dated 1900, would have depicted Max exactly as we saw him in the film, subtly suggesting a long and possibly dark past for the vampire leader. Despite its enduring popularity, The Lost Boys didn't immediately launch a major theatrical franchise. However, lesser-known direct-to-DVD sequels did emerge over a decade later. Released in 2008 and 2010 respectively, Lost Boys: The Tribe and Lost Boys: The Thirst featured Corey Feldman reprising his role as Edgar Frog. Corey Haim made a brief appearance in The Tribe during the mid-credits scene, marking one of his final film roles. Jameson Newlander also returned as Alan Frog in The Thirst, and Kiefer Sutherland's brother Angus Sutherland took the lead in The Tribe. I wouldn't recommend watching either, to be honest. The 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake destroyed some of The Lost Boys' recognisable locations. The original comic book shop where the characters first encounter the Frog Brothers and the stage where the band performs near the film's opening are sadly no longer there. And there you have it, folks. You now know a little bit more about The Lost Boys. If you enjoyed the video, which I presume you did as you got this far, Hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos coming to Rocky Watches Movies. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.